So there's the scene in Friendship Park, Belgrade, with 3 races done, the 2 longest races to come, the senior women first and then the senior men, each of those over 10 kilometers. So 5 laps of the track to be negotiated, of this circuit to be negotiated. And Paula, the temperature's still climbing and there's a very, very slight breeze here in the park.
Yeah, I think the breeze has picked up a little bit, and I'm not sure the temperature has risen that much more than the previous races, so I think that breeze will certainly be welcome, and I think these women will be not wanting to stand around too much out there in the sunshine before they get underway.
Well, there are 91 declared athletes in this race from 32 nations, including the athlete refugee team. Well, Chebet, nearest the camera, was 6th in the Ugandan cross-country championship. She's moving really well at the moment. Very comfortable indeed, but its tempo is very, very fast indeed. It's steady, but it's aggressive. Rengaruk, who was 3rd in the world cross-country back in 2017 when it was staged in Uganda, funnily enough, has got a great CV, but most of her big runs go back some years, although last summer she came back and took a second at the end of the summer in the World Championships 5K.
And the real challenge, the real laying down of the pace at this stage is certainly happening from the Kenyan team, who I think have really set their stall out and talked about the fact that they would love to take it with minimum points in the team race. That means taking all of the first 4 places to secure the team race, but I think they'd like to take the first 6.
World Junior champion back in 2012 at 3,000 meters. Chebet She has all the abilities, a 14:45 5,000 meter runner. There's the best of the Americans. Kalati, she's having a good run so far. Wainik Kalati, she's a fabulous track athlete. 8:32 for 3,000 last year, 14:53 for 5,000. She brings it all. Indeed, just recently ran 30:33 for the 10,000 meters in California. That was just a couple of weeks back, so Kalati might be a bit of a handful here, because not too many athletes who are in track form to go low 30s.
No, and she's coming into the race in great shape. She was 2nd in the big 10,000 meter race on the track and ran a big personal best there, 30:33.
That's what I just mentioned.
Yeah. So because she's coming in off of that, she's talked about the fact that she really feels that she's in shape to come here and to run well, and the Americans have not actually had anyone in the top 10 since Shalane Flanagan back in 2011, so it would be a big step up for her to be able to run, and without a doubt that race gave her the confidence to do that.
Well, that approach might be a smart approach, but it contradicts all the instincts of top athletes, where you want to be competitive, you want to go with it, you don't want to throw in the towel and say, do you know what, if I run a really smart race here, I could finish between 7th and 12th. She will want to go with it and want to be up there in the top 5 or 6.
She will, and she'll want to get in there and commit to it. And that's the great thing about cross-country. It is a little bit of a leveler. There are athletes that have superb cadence, superb efficiency on the roads, and maybe can't quite translate that. Even though this is a dry, hard course, as we talked about, it is rutted. There are the obstacles in there. It does break up that momentum, and it just makes it a little bit more of a leveler and allows athletes like Kalati to be able to get in there in the mix. And indeed, a lot of the Ugandan team as well, who would not be anywhere near as quick on paper as the Kenyans are here today, but they're able at the moment to be in there, mixing it with them and taking it to them in the race.
Beatrice is tall, isn't she? Wow. I was with her in Brasov, Romania, back in early October last year, when we thought she'd broken the 10K world record. Then it was found that the course was short on each of the laps by about 20 meters. So she was about 60 meters short of the full 10K distance. She wasn't awarded the world record, obviously, but actually she would have broken it by about 10 or 15 seconds. So she was denied a world record. So there was some justice in her getting that world record in Valencia back in January.
Yeah, I think the sheer speed of that, and I guess we haven't commented on the fact of the shoes. We can see the mud is now streaking the legs of these women, so they do need to choose to wear spikes. But the way we walked around the course yesterday, it wasn't absolutely necessary. We did say that you could perhaps have chosen to run in road flats, can you, on a lot of this course.
No, absolutely. And of course, there is the debate over whether or not the new technology in racing spikes is much help on grass. And I think it probably does help a little bit, but not nearly as much. So you could make a pretty good case for saying cross-country and racing on grass is a bit of a leveler.
And I think that's the thing that I love about it, particularly a pure cross-country race where you have to wear spikes. Then the new technology that has come in can't really make that much of a difference. It is still about your natural cadence, your natural running style, and horses for courses, if you like, the way that people are particularly suited to running on certain conditions. But without a doubt, world cross country, the Kenyans are suited, and particularly in the women's race, to coming out in force and in full strength like this and really dictating the race. And look how quickly now that gap has opened up back to Kalati, who did her level best to hang on to them for as long as possible, but the screw has just kept turning at the front, and Beatrice, and all of them have just kept picking the pace up and making it really hard to live with.
Well, this is looking ominous for the rest of the world, isn't it? The perfect score would be 1, 2, 3, 4, of course. And there's a really good chance that Kenya here are going to get that perfect 10 here in Belgrade. That is formidable. The rest of the world in their wake. There's no conversation, but almost a telepathic understanding amongst this quintet of Ethiopians who now are easing away from the rest. That if they just hold this tempo on this third lap of 5, they're still only about the halfway stage, but if they can just hold this tempo, they could get the perfect 10. It would be quite magnificent. And she's holding the end up for the USA here quite magnificently, Paula. If she could just attach herself to the back of this 5, although they are easing away, I think the gaps are growing. If she could just get back on terms with them, it would probably be easier than running in isolation like she's doing now.
Yeah, I mean, she's also got, I think that's Sarah Chelangat ahead of her, of Uganda. She was 10th in the 10,000 metres in Budapest last year, and she has her ahead of her. So if she can maybe get herself back onto level terms with her and be able to, as you say, at least run with someone, because it is now going to be kind of a battle of survival and war of attrition, and she will undoubtedly start to come under a little bit of an attack from the athletes behind her, who would dearly love to get into that kind of coveted top 7, top 10 spot at World Cross Country.
So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 18:23, the time after 3 laps in this women's race. 2 laps to go. Chelangat, then Kalati Freski for the USA. Chepkamai of Kazakhstan. Welde of Ethiopia, the best Ethiopian in 9th place at the moment. The Ugandans looking good, must be in 2nd place in the team race at the moment with 4 in the top 16. But this is not unprecedented, but it is still very, very special. This total dominance from the Kenyan athletes so far. They are well past halfway now, out onto the 4th lap of 5. Any significant changes there? Not really.
I think without a doubt, it's the age-old thing, isn't it? When you're struggling in a race, try and cast your mind back to a race when you felt really good, when you felt really strong, because that psychologically puts you in a place where you naturally can just find a little bit more from your body. And I think to know that they already have the team race wrapped up is certainly adding fuel to the bodies and to the minds of these athletes out there, and to know that you're at the front of the World Cross Country. And sometimes when you are just in that zone and things are just really clicking, it really does feel like however you want to run the race, it's like you almost have that instinct to know exactly when you should strike. And I'm going to say there's probably only one of them in there who actually has that today, and that'll be the one that we see pull away to win at the end. But hazard a guess as to who that is at the moment, and it's tough. I mean, I think Beatrice looks really strong. I think Chebet looks good, but they all look good at different points in the race.
It's about pride, it's about medals, which do define a career, but the prize money is always a nice little bit of icing on the cake, as they have negotiated now that penultimate lap. Beatrice, Achol, Kipemboy, Renderuk and Chebet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nobody anywhere near them.
I think so. I think she's definitely trying and certainly fears the finish of the likes of Beatrice Chebet. But for me, Beatrice Chebet, even in that shot, just looks supremely relaxed. Just eases ahead there just to allow herself a better view and a better path and trajectory through these obstacles. Just kind of backs off, because if she's at the front, she can do that. They're all behind her. And so she can just take her way through that and then allow the race to pan back out again. And almost for a second, it looked like a shot was dropped, but she's made her way back up again. Yeah, for me, I think the key for Chebet is that she is the defending champion here as well. So she's been there and done that, and none of the others in this race have actually done that. So she has that in her arsenal as well, that she is the defending world cross-country champion, and 4 away now. So somebody has become detached. Is that Immaculate Anyango, who's looked as though she was struggling before, but we'll need a closer...
Well, it may be. Certainly one athlete has been dealt with. That surge, that acceleration, just for a couple of minutes from Agnes Ngetic coming into this final lap, looks to have put paid to the hopes of one of her compatriots, as this now becomes a battle between the Kenyans. It's something they will put to one side, is their friendship, their teammate. And Rengaruk now.
And this is the first time Chebet went to the front, and now Ngetic has gone. So that is now 3 away. Is it the medals look to be moving away from Agnes Ngetic, who's done so much of the work in this race to try and break it up.
Well, Rengaruk is no slouch over 5,000. She took the silver medal in the World Championship on the roads, 5,000 in Riga last September. 3rd in the Kenyan cross-country championships, and we are down to 3. We knew it was going to be a 1-2-3 for Kenya. It's probably going to be a 1-2-3-4-5, but now we're virtually in the home straight, psychologically the home straight, visually yet another couple of 100 meters before they cross the final bridge and then hit the home straight. Chebet, though, still looks very in control, doesn't she, Paula? In second place in the middle of this trio. She's the smallest of the 3, the defending champion, but she just... There's something confident on her features.
I think she knows that she has a little bit left. She does always look that composed, even when she's beaten, but she also knows that she beat Rengaruk in Riga in those races. She's beaten her on the track many times, and she will be hoping that she can just pull on that finishing speed into this home straight.
So the surge is on then. Rengaruk giving her all with about 200 meters to run. And now Beatrice Chebet, the defending champion, hits the front for the first time. She stormed to glory 13 months ago in Bathurst, Australia. She's going to do the same here again today as she hits the front and moves away with 100 meters to run. The defending champion will retain her title. She's Commonwealth champion. She's world champion at 5,000 meters. She's got golds galore back home, and she's going to add one more to that collection here today in Belgrade. She holds the world record for women over 5K on the roads. Today she has another gold on the country. She is world champion over women's 10 kilometers here. Rengaruk second. Brilliant running by all these athletes. Chepkemoi coming through for 3rd place.
Margaret
Chepkemoi, rather, excuse me, not Chepkemoi. She was 5th in the Kenyan Championship. She's 3rd in the world today. And Achol comes through for 4th.